showing we don't need roads.
Guys, it's so good to see you again. I fucking love this movie so much. It's going to be on my top 10 at the end of the year. So seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Very happy to hear that. Thank you.
I got 1,000 questions for you. I am fascinated with this idea of having a double, and because of that, basically sort of having an excuse to do whatever you want to do. And I was wondering if that was at all comparable to acting in a way, the idea of getting to do things you normally wouldn't because there's another version of you that won't have to sort of pay the consequences. Is there any kind of connective tissue between the two?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, 100%. Yeah, our characters. This is an opportunity for them to play characters and be uninhibited and go crazy and push the boundary. Yeah, free of consequences. They get away with literally murder and they can do whatever they want. And they take full advantage of that.
You know, I feel like between this film and X and Pearl and True Blood, each of you have had the experience in horror being both, I guess, sort of the hunter and the hunted. And I was wondering if that changes your experience on set. As an actor, is there any kind of a difference between being the person who's doing the killing versus the person who is potentially going to be killed?
Yeah, you come into it with a very different energy. Naturally, if you're predator or prey, so yeah, I think it's in preparation and stepping into it. It's psychologically very different for sure.
Yeah, the preparation is different and it requires different things as you're working towards it. But I think really once you're on set, the goal of the day of that scene is to just make it as honest and as truthful as possible. And really there isn't much difference in that sense. It's quite similar once you get to that point.
Obviously, it goes without saying that there are moments of pretty extreme sex and violence in this movie. And so much so, there were moments that I honestly thought, like, how did they get away with this? Like, I'm sort of curious that I'm able to watch this in a major motion picture. I'm curious, on those days on set, did you guys ever question that? Was there ever a moment where you thought, like, I don't know if this is even going to be in the final movie? Like, how is this going to make it?
No, not particularly.
No, me neither. I think it's for me. It was I just really believed in Brandon's vision for the movie and the cinematic language that Brandon and Kareem Hussein, his extraordinary DP, the photographer, the world that they created. It's all about trust, and if you believe in your filmmaker and that his or her vision and what they're trying to do, it was you're kind of all in, and then you go for it, and you try to push the boundaries and explore new things. And it was very fun and playful shooting those. Of course, you never know what's going to make the final cut. Shooting those big fight scenes, orgy scenes, it was very fun and playful, and everyone was excited about creating those montage sequences.
I think as an actor, if you're concerned about the results of a project, or you're thinking about how it's going to be received, you're running into trouble. I really think that as an actor, it's best to just stay in the moment and be as present as you possibly can be, and just let it unfold as it may. You have such little control really as an actor that I think that the only place you have any sort of autonomy really is in the moment, is in the scene and your choices. And
you want to feel free and uninhibited in those moments, so you don't want to think. It's not like the character starts thinking about the end product, so you want to be free in that.
No, exactly.
Well, that actually perfectly kind of leads into my next question, because if you couldn't tell from my opening reaction in this interview, horror is my favorite genre of all time. And Mia, I'm going to be honest, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that you deserved an Oscar nomination for Pearl. Like, your performance was flawless, and it's one of the best performances I've seen in years. And I'm curious why you guys think that, I mean, for the most part, with notable exceptions like Exorcist and Sixth Sense, that the Oscars tend to veer away from the genre of horror. Like, why is it such a hard genre to get a group like the Academy to take more seriously? Because there are masterpieces that have failed to get recognized over the last 50 years of cinema.
I think that it's very political, and that it's not entirely based on the quality of a project per se. I think there's a lot going on. There are a lot of cooks in the kitchen when it comes to nominations and who's and categories that are recognized. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that either. But I think that's true. I think a lot of people know that, and I don't know why. I think it's, a change is necessary, that there has to, a shift should take place, really. And if they wanted to, engage with the wider public, I think it would be of benefit, really.
I agree with you. And I think there's a reason they call it an Oscar campaign. And I think you absolutely nailed it, because it is very political. I'm going to end on a very stupid question, because I never ask the "did you keep anything from the set" question, because I know oftentimes you just can't. It's not how it works. But I have to ask, please tell me that you got to keep your mask, because those things were incredible. And I would do everything I can to steal one of those from the set.
Well, you should have been here 15 minutes ago, because we were just presented with our clones framed and in the kind of red goo. Do you remember the movie the first time my character sees his clone? When he's like in that red kind of slimy thing? We were just presented with those. So that was a very interesting experience. And we're now trying to figure out, where do you hang a rubbery latex version of yourself?
Right over the fireplace, baby. Right over the fireplace.
On the mantelpiece.
Exactly. Right for people to come in and see. Guys, seriously, if you can't tell, I'm genuinely obsessed with this film. I'm obsessed with I think this is two of the best performances of your career, and I beg to get on this junket. So seriously, I truly do appreciate you taking the time.
Oh man, that means a lot.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure to see you.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.